Well guys, here we are, day 4. Magoo's place was so good yesterday morning, we went ahead and got breakfast here again. Oh man, I've never done so much consecutive motorcycle riding in my entire life. Which, I guess isn't saying much considering I've only been riding for 6 years, but wow. What an experience. It has been something spectacular, dude. Everything from the camaraderie with these guys, to the epic views, to just kind of bonding with the bike all over again. Old Evelyn, man. Old reliable. But I don't imagine there's going to be a whole lot of material to share with you guys today. In fact, you might be better served by just going to the first video and playing it in reverse. Right? However, I can tell you, if there is something awesome to see, I will most certainly share it with you. But we've got a minimum of 9 to 10 hours riding ahead of us. And so I'll catch you in a minute. Or a lot of minutes.
So with a motorcycle trip of that magnitude, it's only appropriate that we have a sort of a proper debrief, right? So we're back in Waco, we're at this taqueria. Figure we have a little bit of a chat with our 2 basic main organizers of this trip. So I'd like to introduce you to Ted and Teddy, father and son. So Ted basically set all of this up as far as the itinerary and planning and just the basic layout of the trip was all this man's doing. So if you guys enjoyed all of this awesome footage and the adventure that was this trip to Big Bend National Park, this is the guy you want to thank right here. Alright, so obviously everyone had a good time. I don't believe anyone had a bad time. Ted, thoughts and musings on what went right? Did anything go wrong? And is there anything that could have been better, in your opinion?
Well, to start with, every time you do something, you can learn from it, right? so I'm sure we learned a few things from this trip. Probably the best part for me about this trip is we're very lucky in our location. Most destination trips include a lot of interstate time. We were lucky enough to ride through the heart of the hill country to Del Rio, and the next day ride across the desert to the Big Bend area, and on our final day ride the Big Bend. So just reflecting back, you don't get much better trip than that.
Yeah, yeah.
There were a lot of different kind of bikes. Each brought something to the party, and some left some things at home.
Yeah, so we did have a, and you guys all saw, we had a pretty good mix of motorcycles. We had Harley Davidsons, we had BMWs, and we had Suzuki, we had Yamaha. So we had a pretty good representation of both domestic, European, and metric bikes. And of course, Teddy was on the Suzuki SV650. Your thoughts, Teddy?
I loved it, but you know, thinking back about some of the things that happened, I mean, I spent all my money. I throwed up, but I'd do it all again after a couple of days of letting my backside.
Yeah. You know, that's the thing about it too. It was such a long ride, but at the end of the day, and we're just now getting back into town, but I think it's safe to say we would all do it all over again.
Right.
Immediately.
I did think of one thing when we were riding, I could ever give anybody advice. You go to the Big Bend, are you going to ride the road, or are you going to look? Because what I found was it's hard to do both at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would say be prepared. Be prepared to take in the scenery or focus on the roads and enjoy those incredible roads. They are incredible. Only way I can see that you can ever get the most out of it is take a scenic drive through and then turn around and take an adventurous ride through.
Yeah. Well, the one positive along those lines is the fact that all of it is in footage. So, you know, once this is uploaded to YouTube, you'll be able to go back and relive it anytime you want. You know, so there's that. Alright, so another important facet of this adventure that needs to be mentioned is the fact that we were lucky in that there were no mishaps, there were no accidents, there were no mechanical breakdowns of any kind. All in all, I believe it was about as perfect of a trip from a logistical standpoint that it possibly could have been.
And the weather.
And the weather. The weather was perfect. All right, Ted, so real quick, run us through the logistics involved with the planning of a trip like this. Everything from accommodations to planning the fuel stops, how important that is. Considering you have to take into consideration all the different types of motorcycles, their fuel ranges, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, considering the fact that there's not a fuel every 50 miles, you need to take in consideration your range and make sure that you have your stops planned so that at the end of that tank full, there's going to be a gas station there. As far as accommodations in the Big Bend area, there's plenty of various accommodations. We looked at that, but when we saw the biker hotel, after all, we are on bikes, and once we got there and met the crew, we knew that we made the right choice for that. Riding the Big Bend area will offer you an opportunity for a taco stand or a taco shop every so often, so you won't go hungry. And other than that, you might want to carry some water.
Right on.